44 years old, a multi-million-dollar gamble, and one final ultimatum. As the 2026 season approaches, Fernando Alonso has drawn a line in the sand that changes everything. The entire Formula One paddock waits for this moment. It is January 16th, 2026, and we are weeks away from seeing the results of the most aggressive recruitment drive in motorsport history. When Fernando Alonso signed his contract extension back in April 2024, he committed to a complete overhaul rather than just filling a seat. The situation has shifted violently since then. The AMR 26 represents the verdict on Lawrence Stroll's billion-dollar experiment, rather than just another car launch. We watched a 2025 season where Aston Martin sacrificed short-term results to pour every single resource into this specific machine. Rumors coming out of Silverstone suggest that Alonso's future hinges entirely on the next 6 months. The Spanish veteran has made it clear he intends to fight for the third title that has eluded him for 2 decades. However, his logic contains a surprise retirement condition that contradicts everything we thought we knew about his hunger for victory.
We need to address the genius in the wind tunnel immediately.
Adrian Newey walked through the doors at Silverstone on March 3, 2025, a date etched in the team's history as the start of this car's true lineage. For the last 10 months, Newey has been fundamental to the AMR 26 concept, rather than simply tweaking front wings. The chassis we are about to see is the first Aston Martin built with Newey's influence on the core design from day one. He found loopholes in the 2026 active aero regulations that other teams missed. Reports from inside the factory suggest the simulator numbers are frighteningly good, though we have heard similar claims before. The difference this time is the MAN signing off on the drawings, because Newey does not join projects to finish 4th. His arrival signaled to Alonso that the tools are finally available. If this car fails, it is a failure of execution rather than resources.
The engine situation has also changed completely.
For the first time in his Aston Martin career, Alonso is the factory lead rather than a customer. The exclusive Honda partnership starting this season completes the package. Honda spent the last 3 years building a power unit specifically for the 2026 regulations, which demand a near equal split between combustion and electrical power. While Mercedes and Ferrari must compromise for multiple customer teams, Honda built this unit solely for the back of Alonso's car. They tuned the packaging to fit Newey's aggressive, tight-waisted aerodynamic concept perfectly. This level of integration won Red Bull their titles. Alonso knows that if the Honda unit delivers the promised 350 kilowatts of electrical deployment without reliability issues, he finally has the weapon he needs to fight Max Verstappen on the straights.
If you are following the 2026 preseason drama as closely as we are, make sure you subscribe as we track every update from the factory floor to the first test in Bahrain. We return now to the details of Alonso's ultimatum. The story gets complicated here because logic suggests Alonso will retire if he loses. However, the driver suggested the exact opposite in late 2025, when he told reporters that a fantastic car, capable of fighting for the title, makes 2026 more likely to be his final year. He wants to leave as a winner with that third title and walk away at age 45. The real danger for Aston Martin is mediocrity rather than success. If the car is fast, Alonso might retire happy,
but a disastrous car could convince him to stay. He is stubborn enough to refuse to end his career on a low note, and explicitly said he might remain for 2027 just to fix any problems. Paradoxically, those who want to see Alonso race forever might actually want the Aston Martin to struggle initially.
Biology is another major factor, since Fernando turns 45 this July. He is the first driver since Graham Hill in 1975 to race competitively at this age. The 2026 calendar features 24 races and 6 sprints, with an intensity that didn't exist in the Hill era. Alonso's physical tests in the winter break reportedly showed he is fitter than drivers half his age, although recovery takes longer now. The new 2026 cars are lighter and smaller, but they are also more unstable, with the active aerodynamics shifting the balance mid-corner. The overtake mode requires constant mental calculation. The task involves managing a complex energy system at 200 miles per hour while fighting off younger drivers rather than simply driving fast. If the car requires him to push constantly just to reach Q3, that mental fatigue will accumulate. He has admitted that travel is the killer rather than the driving. Traveling to 24 races just to finish 9th makes the suitcase feel very heavy. Another figure in this equation who lacks infinite patience is Lawrence Stroll. The billionaire owner has built the wind tunnel, the factory, hired Newey, and secured Honda. He has done his part and now expects delivery. The relationship between Stroll and Alonso has been strong, but 2026 is the year results must arrive. If Alonso fails to win, Stroll might start looking at the grid's younger talent. With drivers like Kimi Antonelli and Oliver Biermann maturing, and potential shuffles at rival teams, Aston Martin cannot afford sentimentality because Stroll wants the Constructors Championship. If Alonso cannot extract the maximum from the Newey car despite his skill, or if the partnership sours due to lack of performance, the decision might not belong to Fernando. This scenario is unlikely given his status, but in Formula One, a driver is often judged by their last race. Fernando has already hinted at his post-F1 plans, and they involve racing, rather than sitting on a beach. He has unfinished business at the Dakar Rally and wants to win it. He has also mentioned the Aston Martin Valkyrie project for Le Mans. The WEC hypercar program is starting, and he is the obvious choice to lead Aston Martin to a Le Mans victory. A transition to endurance racing in 2027 seems like the ideal exit strategy. It keeps him in the Aston Martin family and keeps him racing, but removes the 24-race global schedule. He could become a brand ambassador who occasionally drives a hypercar to show his speed. This soft retirement option makes the decision to leave F1 much easier. He would be changing disciplines rather than quitting racing. That safety net makes walking away from F1 in 2026 a genuine position. Indicators suggest he will retire, but only under specific conditions. This season acts as a binary moment where the outcome is all or nothing. If the AMR 26 is a championship contender, he likely fights, wins, and leaves the sport. If it is a midfield car, he faces the difficult choice of grinding for another year or accepting that the third title will not happen. The 2026 regulations were intended to balance the field. If they fail to help Aston Martin, no further regulation changes will arrive to save them for 4 more years. Alonso understands the long-term implications.
If he senses that the 2026 gap to the front is too large, even with Newey, he will likely not waste his time. He is too proud to run in the midfield indefinitely.
The events of 2026 will define an era. If Alonso wins, he redefines longevity in professional sports and proves that motivation matters more than age. It would be a historic comeback with 20 years between titles. However, if he walks away empty-handed, it serves as a reminder of the difficult nature of Formula One. It shows that timing is critical, even with the best designer, engine, and driver. We need to appreciate every lap of this season. We are likely watching the final chapter of a career that started when engines were V10s and Michael Schumacher was just a three-time champion. The grid without Alonso will feel quieter, less intense, and less strategic. This season represents a potential farewell tour alongside the Fernando Alonso has spent 20 years chasing a third title. Whether 2026 ends with a trophy or a retirement, he has already won the battle against time. Make sure you are subscribed to stay updated on every development in this final chapter. Thanks for watching.